Hello, everybody. Welcome. Hope you are all doing incredibly so far today as you are listening to this, watching this. However, you're taking in this podcast. I appreciate it, and I hope you are doing well. No belaboring of the intro here today because I am going to be giving up my hosting duties here in the matter of seconds. This was something that we talked about on her episode like a month or so ago, right? I think that's when the last time you were on, a month or so ago. So Dr. Andrea Smith of Synaptic Chiropractic is here. And at the at the end of her episode, she was I can't remember now. Did we say this on the recording or was this after the fact? I think it was on the recording.
I think it was on the recording because you put me on the spot and I was wait, I need to flip the tables here.
my how the turntables
have tied in.
My how the tables have turned. So she was saying that I needed to be interviewed on my own podcast by a guest, and I was like, that's a great idea and you're doing it. So here we are. I told her no topics are off the table. I figured we would start with politics and then slip right into civil rights and then maybe dovetail maybe
it little
religion at the end to wrap it. No, I'm kidding. We are not going to do that. We are going to stay far, far away. Like this is Thanksgiving dinner next week. Or actually, this is coming out the day before tomorrow. Thanksgiving is tomorrow. If you're listening to this, Thanksgiving is tomorrow. I hope you already unthawed your turkey. So I'm going to give the hosting duties over to Dr. Andrea Smith for the interview. So Doc, take it away.
Oh, I'm so excited. Hi, everybody. Dr. Andrea Smith, and like Dr. Phil said, with Synaptic Chiropractic. Dr. Phil has been so wonderful and so welcoming to me since I got up to Maine in April. And I just wanted to show him the love back and, let him talk to us about what he does. He's so open to letting us all speak about our passions and our exciting things we're doing in our clinics. And we need to give him that same due. So welcome, Dr. Phil, to your own podcast.
Thank you very much. And I appreciate the opportunity for you to interview me on my podcast.
Yes. So why don't you start out by telling us a little bit about how you got into physical therapy to begin with? What was that journey like for you? Is it something you always thought you would do? Did you stumble upon it in school? Where did this come up for you?
Sure. I think my answer is probably if you had 10 physical therapists in the room, 9 of us would probably give about the exact same story. I came upon it when I was in high school and had some sports injuries myself and had to go through physical therapy. Mm-hmm. And I had a really good relationship with my athletic trainer, Nick Thompson. What's up, Nick? And I was kind of interested initially in athletic training because the idea of working with athletes and potentially athletes at a professional level, when you're a high school kid who's a sports fanatic, that's like, oh, I could work with NFL players. Oh, I could, the allure of that is there. And he was kind of all for that, but he was also like, hey, you should check into physical therapy as well. And at that time I'd already gone through a little, which is why I was kind of talking to him about it for the knee injury I suffered playing football. Mm-hmm. And so I checked into it a little bit more and actually did some research on the field and some job shadowing and stuff like that. And even just some of the things I saw job shadowing were somewhat earth shattering. I remember this one case at this smaller 1-person operation outpatient clinic in Oakland. It was actually the PT that my dad was going to for some of his knee stuff.
Okay.
And he was working with a patient who had a full body reaction to medication he had after a kidney transplant, I believe.
Wow.
It was either a kidney transplant or a liver, one of the two. And he was basically numb and tingly from his neck down.
Wow.
His whole nervous system was just overreacting to some of this medication that they had him on for the organ transplant.
Wow.
And over time, that tingling sort of went away, and the PT was not necessarily responsible for the nerves coming back. I mean, that was sort of they treated that more medically, but
Yep.
that gentleman's ability to function with that
Mhm.
level of dysfunction in his nervous system
Mhm.
was because of PT. And he
Yeah.
credited that to PT. And I was like, wow, how could someone know what to do with someone that was numb from the neck down and help them move and function during their day? Like, just
Wild.
the power of that knowledge and how impactful that could be to someone who felt like their whole body was like constantly falling asleep.
Yeah.
They just kind of blew my mind. So
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah.
yeah, there was that allure of, oh, I could work with professional athletes as an athletic trainer or a PT. But then I saw
Mhm.
like that real life thing right in front of me, right in my little small hometown in the middle of
Yeah.
central Maine, and was like, holy cow, this is cool. You can impact people on a much bigger level with
Yeah.
this knowledge, and I just kind of dove into it from there.
That's so much bigger than just the small view you had of it. It just got blown up. That's so cool.
For sure. In one job, like one round of job shadowing, I was like, this is amazing.
That's wonderful. Oh, that's so great. Now, talk to me about, because the physical therapy that you do with the sort of concierge, is that the right word I should be using for
Yeah,
your, okay, so some concierge PT. So it's sort of a newer thing that's coming into the forefront, into the field for everybody. So can you talk to everybody about a little bit about why that's different from your general, like, oh, I've got referred to a PT office, I'm going there, and how yours is different from that?
sure. So I mean, the main difference is I don't have a physical location. I don't have
Mhm.
an office or a clinic. So I am fully mobile and go to all of my clients, whether it's
Wow,
in
awesome.
in their homes, in their offices. I've met people at parks before when the weather's nice. I can be pretty flexible with that. I've got some great folks that I work with that own gyms that have told me that, hey, you ever need to treat someone, you can use a corner of my space, no problem. So we can be pretty flexible with that and have a lot of different things to our disposal for treatment. So that's the big difference.
Hmm.
The other difference, and this isn't something that's drastically different from a more traditional idea of outpatient PT,
Hmm.
but I really utilize the direct access model. So in the state of Maine, we have what's called direct access. You as a chiropractor know this because in almost every state, you have direct access, meaning people can just come directly to you
Hmm.
for whatever is ailing them that would attract them to go to you. So,
Yeah.
in other words, you don't need to have a referral from anywhere in order to come seek out that care.
Yeah.
So, whether you're using a concierge model like what I do, or whether you're going to an office location here in Maine, you do not need to see anyone else before seeking out a PT for treatment of your pain, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Um, it just speeds up the process, and people spend less time in pain. And there's actually a lot of research out there within the medical field, and it's not research just done by physical therapists. This is done by the medical field as a whole, as they study certain diagnoses, that going that conservative route first, not only save people time and pain, but also save them average of thousands of dollars, somewhere in the $4,000 range over the
Yeah.
course of the cost of their care.
Hmm.
So that's the other sort of difference. And I say it's a difference because there aren't a ton of PT clinics in Maine
Hmm.
that really push that or even
Okay.
like advertise it.
Hmm.
And that's about all I advertise is that you can just come, we can have a conversation and actually have an in-person session without you having to jump through any other hoops. Like, we can figure out either through uh, sometimes through a phone call, but usually not. We usually have to be in person, or at least
Yeah.
on a telehealth visit. But at a
Yeah.
minimum, through some digital communication or in person, we can figure out if physical therapy is going to be the right treatment for you or a part of the right treatment for you
Hmm.
without having to jump through any other hoops.
Oh, awesome. That's
Um,
so cool.
yeah, so I would say those are the two biggest sort of
Okay.
differences. Is yeah, fully mobile, and definitely lean into more of the trying to reach out directly to people and uh, and really utilize and take advantage of that direct access model that we have here in Maine.
Yeah, and I love the idea of mobile or concierge. Like that sort of model is so wonderful for people, especially so busy, so like wild with their kids and appointments and school and all this other thing, and trying to fit something they know they need in, but having that be able to come to their home or come to their office, into a space where they feel comfortable. And it's like, I'm assuming private sessions. So
Yes.
it's,
Yeah.
you know, one-on-one, which is so wonderful and such a great thing to offer. So I'm sure you've seen a lot of positive response to that.
Definitely. Yeah. I actually just did an evaluation today of someone who, the reason we worked together was this person runs 2 businesses essentially. And they realized that this is a problem that I really need addressed. And I know physical therapy is going to be a part of that problem. And, oh, I can see you without going elsewhere. Oh, great. And then, oh, you come to me. That means I don't have to carve out a half hour to drive over there, however long I'm at that appointment, and then a half hour to drive back. I just lost 2 hours of my day. I can invest, not lose, but invest 1 hour of my day to treat this shoulder problem so that the rest of my day is easier to do.
Yeah.
Perfect. You know, so that was the kind of the selling point of getting this person in and seen and treated for something they really needed help with. So yeah, it's been great from a convenience standpoint, but I'm also seeing people get better and get results that they're looking for just a little bit faster than in that traditional clinic model that I worked in for the 5 years prior to starting my own practice. And some of that, as you know, as a healthcare provider, can certainly come from just experience, right? And like, I've seen this before, so I know what adjustments need to be made when, in order, you know, based on this trajectory of care. So that could be a factor, but I don't think there's necessarily that big of a difference between 5 years of experience and like 5.5 years of experience. You know, like that leap of getting better at treating things doesn't usually happen in just like 6 months.
No.
So I really do think that being, as you said, in a space where those people are comfortable, 100% one-on-one, and the only things we're doing are the things that the client and myself feel are the most valuable and are going to be the most helpful to get them to where they ultimately want to be at the end of the of treatment, when they've recovered from what we're working on. So I think those are much bigger factors than anything else, and it's resulting in people getting better faster, for sure.
That's so awesome. That is so cool. I just, the whole model is so wonderful, and being able to be mobile, and for you, like, just getting to do that and have your own space to do your own thing it's a nice freeing experience, I'm sure, too, for you.
Very, very much so. Yeah.
Yes.
Very, very freeing. Yeah.
Awesome. So I know everybody likes to hear about the fun cases that we have. So have you had any interesting cases come up lately, or ones that have really like inspired you, or really like made you super happy and like you're really celebrating their results, and anything you want to share?
Sure. Yeah. One of the things that I'm super passionate about in my field in general, just physical therapy in general, is the idea of just prevention, like trying to get ahead of things before they're a big problem, or even before they're even telling you that they're a problem.
Yeah.
And one of the ways that, and this has been a pretty big shift, and you've probably seen this a little bit too in the folks that you work with that have this going on, but in the knee arthritis world, like the folks that are looking forward to or not looking forward, but they're staring down a knee replacement.
Yep.
Orthopedic surgeons have been a lot better at getting those people to PT for about 6 to 8 weeks before they even schedule a surgery date. So, you know, they refer someone to, you know, a PCP refers someone to an ortho, and they say, hey, look, based on what I'm seeing here, before we even schedule a surgery date, let's work on some PT before we schedule. And in the olden days, it seems so long ago now, it's only been a couple of years since I've worked in that model, but when I was working in a system where I was getting more referrals from people like orthopedic surgeons, I was seeing a lot of those people. Our clinic was in general, but I was seeing a lot of those people. And at the end of that 6 to 8 weeks, they were like, I don't think I need to go see the doctor next week. Like, I think I'm good. Like, I don't think I need to schedule a surgery. And I was like, hey, that's up to you. Don't, I'm not going to tell you to not to go see the doctor, but if you feel like you don't need to schedule a surgery right now, don't. And if it ever comes up again, you can certainly explore that option. But so the idea of doing prevention, and I really try to push that even before it gets to that point, so especially like giving the example of knee pain from arthritis. Don't wait until it's so bad that you have to go see a specialist. We can start working on that a lot sooner, because if someone is 12 weeks away from needing a knee replacement and we can avoid the knee replacement altogether, think of how much better we can get that person if they came and saw us a year before they ever thought about needing a knee replacement.
Wow.
The improvements we could make there would probably be that much greater. So the idea of prevention in general is just something I'm really, really passionate about. And I'm still seeing that with some knee pain, clients who are suffering from some knee pain. The other thing that I'm seeing a lot of recently, and this was something that I sort of started my practice for, because I'm not sure if we've talked about this, Dr. Andrea, but I really started the practice initially as a workplace injury prevention consulting practice.
Very cool.
So I started it in the midst of the pandemic, when everybody showed up to work one day and was sent home with a laptop to say, figure out how to work from home, with no guidance on really how to do that.
Yep.
And back then I was talking a lot about things going on up here in what I refer to as the schneck, the shoulder neck region.
You need t-shirts that say schneck.
Swear
to God.
it's going on the t-shirt.
Hashtag schneck.
Hashtag schneck. Hashtag no schneck pain. So I was talking about that area, talking about how the nerves in that area can refer pain down into our extremities. So you could have things like numbness and tingling in your hand, or pain in your elbow, and not have any pain necessarily up here in that schneck, but it could be coming from the schneck. So we need to address that. And that was the angle I was taking. And I was sort of, in a way, I guess, warning people, whoever was listening, that I think based on this shift we've seen in the work from home model, these are the things that people are going to be dealing with in 3, 6, 9, 12 months from now, whatever the case might be. And here we are about a year and a half later, and I'm seeing an awful lot of schneck pain.
So much schneck pain.
So I'm sure you are too, correct?
Yeah. 100%. And with that, then you have other health issues that start to come up, like decrease in breath rate because they're crunched forward, the rib cage can't expand. So many things come up with that, like where it starts with the pain and then it progresses further. So like what you talk about is that prevention portion of it, which is the key to almost every health issue. So yes, prevention.
Working on it a little bit more. I like to say it's here in the state of Maine. I know you're newer to this region, but I don't know if they do where you live or not, but in Maine they require yearly inspections for our cars so that they don't become a danger on the roadways, right?
Yes.
So I like to say in Maine, I feel like sometimes we take care of our cars better than we take care of ourselves. And if our car breaks, we can just go buy a new one, right? If this stuff isn't working well, we can't just go get a new schneck.
No, this is the only one we get.
These are the only schnecks we get, and we need that left and right schneck. We need to take care of that. So working in that prevention model, but specifically on those two things, been seeing a lot of it lately. But because we've been seeing a lot of it, have a real good handle on it, And when we make those appropriate corrections, not just to the mobility and activation, stability and strength that we need to address, but also to just different pivots in people's daily routine and their habits, combining all that stuff together has been pretty successful. And it's cool to see that even though this stuff is happening, like I unfortunately thought it would, there's a way to take care of it, and it's never too soon and never too late to take care of it. So
that's so awesome. I love everything that you're saying. It all aligns and it's all perfect. So that is so great. So a couple more questions for you. So talk to me about the holidays and so I know that in my practice around the holidays, like because we're a big stress practice. We focus on like the stress response in the system.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you're noticing things like that and what you do normally notice in your career around the holidays, and maybe something people can think about to prepare between from, Halloween all the way through the new year to help better their health and better their position with their bodies.
Yeah. Well, I think the big thing, and this is true no matter what time of year we're talking, but especially true during the holidays because they're back to back to back to back, right?
Yeah.
Like 4 holidays in a 3-month period, right?
Yeah. It's crazy.
All of which involve gatherings and parties.
Yeah.
I think time is one of the biggest factors for everybody. That's probably one of the biggest barriers that you hear in when you instruct a member of your practice on things they can be doing like on their own to support what you're doing.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a factor of just getting in and getting the care that they need.
Yeah.
Like taking that time for themselves. So the number one thing I would say is take the time for yourself, because all of the joy and love and whatever else comes with these holidays that we're in the midst of right now is going to be that much more enjoyable if you're well taken care of. So take care of yourself first and foremost.
Yes.
Make that time investment for yourself. Number 2 is try to make it easy on yourself. So if you have something actively going on that you are getting care for, and I go over this with people year round, not just during the holidays, but especially right now when time does seem like it's of the essence, try to just sprinkle things into your day that are going to be small things, but when they accumulate are gonna cause really big changes for you. So, just because someone like myself gives you 4 or 5 different things to work on in between our visits together doesn't mean you have to spend 30 minutes doing those 4 or 5 things all at once out of your day. And you're going, where the heck am I going to find 30 minutes to do these things?
Yeah.
Do split them up and do them 4 or 5 different times a day. So you're only taking 2 to 5 minutes 4 to 5 times a day to do these things. And for a lot of people, sprinkling it through the day like that is actually a little more beneficial because it gives them little mini breaks throughout the day to work on things that make that area feel good when they're probably doing things that are part of the problem in the first place. Depending on what we're helping them with. So that would be my other piece of advice is, keep it simple for yourself. Don't make it complicated, and don't let that time investment we just talked about, taking care of yourself, overwhelm you to a point where you just keep pushing it aside and not address the problem because you feel like it's just too much and you have too many other things to do.
Like I'll deal with all of this after January 1st.
Right.
And it's like, nope.
Right. And the other reason why that's so important is because if we think it's a lot of time right now to take care of that problem and invest that time in ourselves, depending on the problem we're talking about, depending on how long you wait, the time investment you're going to have to put into it is probably going to be longer, right? With most things, the longer we let them linger, it's probably going to take a little longer for us to take care of them.
Definitely.
Especially if we're talking about things like nerves in our body and stuff like that. There's no time frame for healing on a nerve. That's very specific to taking stress off of it cumulatively and all that good stuff. That could be a whole nother podcast we could do.
Oh yeah.
but the reason I bring that up is because depending on what you're dealing with, if you keep kicking the can down the road, time is always going to be something that is hard for us to make, but you're going to have to take a lot more of it the longer you wait on it. So if we take care of something now, yes, there's a time investment, but it's going to be a lot less of a time investment sooner than if we wait till later.
Yes. Oh my gosh. You could not have said it better. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I think those are the big things to keep in mind this holiday season. Another quick thing I'll throw in is don't sweat the petty things, and don't pet the sweaty things. That's just a good rule to live by.
That is an excellent rule to live by. Oh, that's so awesome. All right, Phil. So I've got my last 2 questions for you.
Okay.
So, what was I going to ask you? I know what I was going to ask you. Oh my gosh. Hold on 1 second. I haven't got it. See, this is not. See, I'm not a podcast person.
No,
so I'm obviously lacking here. So I want you to tell me what your definition of strength is.
Okay. Yeah, I have the luxury of having heard, I don't know how many interviews I've done on this podcast and have asked people that. So I've heard all of these different responses to it.
Yeah.
And yet I still think I'm probably going to throw one out that I don't think we've heard yet.
Ooh, I like that.
Because again, I think everyone's definition of it is different, but it all speaks to the depth of that and the versatility of that word. But to me, strength is really more about rebounding and resilience. Like, how can we handle what is being thrown at us? And that is from a physical perspective, a mental, emotional perspective, psychological perspective, making ourselves more resilient to what life throws at us, and not letting whatever that is completely derail us from what we're trying to accomplish. Awesome. I think that's how I would define strength. Kind of the I guess the old-fashioned way to put it is pulling yourself up by your bootstraps a little bit, and making the changes you need to make to keep kind of chugging along. But yeah, having some resilience to those things, and being okay with whatever setbacks come with what life throws at you, and making the necessary changes to keep pushing forward and get better.
That's awesome. Yeah, I don't think in the podcast that I've listened to, I don't think I've ever heard somebody put it that way, and I really like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so what is your true purpose in life?
Yeah, that's it is a loaded question, and
it is a huge question.
it's a huge question, and I think first and foremost for me, it's my general purpose is my family, because I would do whatever it is I need to do for them. But beyond that, and part of what I do for them is being passionate about what I do as a physical therapist, and being passionate about what physical therapy as a field can do for people. That's always been, ever since I had that aha moment my junior year of high school with that story I shared earlier.
Yeah.
And the more I learned through schooling and my experience so far, and starting to practice, and what I've done over the past year and a half, just the things that I see change for people every day. I just want to share that with as many people as I possibly can, whether they're getting that improvement from me or any other PT, or heck, any other medical provider out there. If we can, as medical providers, if we can provide that life-altering and life-changing experience for people, and in a very positive and sort of patient-centered way, and make sure it's all about them. I'm just really passionate about that, and just want to share that with as many people as absolutely possible. So
Awesome. Oh, that's so lovely. Because I know that people, I hear it, and I'm sure you hear it in your practice. People come in and they're like, oh, I had to go to the doctor, or I had to go do the,
yeah.
and it's like, I would love, and I'm sure you would too, for people to like walk in and be excited. Like, oh, I get to go to physical therapy, or my physical therapist gets to come to me today in your
Sure.
case.
Yeah.
Or I get to go to the chiropractor. Like it's not a stressful experience, and it's an experience that they enjoy and they feel good because you're positive. And I had a professor, and you might have had somebody say something like this similar to you, but they would say the adjustment starts the minute the person walks in the door.
Yeah.
So it's like the care starts the minute they walk in the door, or in your case, the minute you walk in the door. They're so excited because you're so passionate about what you do that they know they're in good hands, because they know you're not going to stop until you can help them. Like, which is,
Sure.
It's just like, I think people really need to feel cared for by their healthcare professionals, especially right now. So
100%. Yeah.
yep.
And no matter what discipline we're talking about, whether it's PT, whether it's chiropractic, whether it's primary care doctors,
Yep.
heck, even whether it's orthopedic specialists, not surgeons, but specialists who do conservative treatments in the orthopedic world.
Yep.
There are providers out there that will provide that experience for you. So
Yep.
if you feel that you aren't happy, or you have that mindset of you have to go see this person, there are other ways out there to not have to feel that way. So please go out and find those, or reach out to myself, or reach out to Dr. Andrea, because we know those people. We would be happy to direct you to those people who will make you feel a little happier about being able to go and see them and get their care. So
I think that's wonderful. Oh, I'm so excited that you're pursuing your passion, and you're doing it in a way that serves people and serves yourself as well, because I think that's important too. So I'm so excited to be able to refer people to you, and for you to be doing what you're doing. I think it's awesome. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And likewise, you said it perfectly. So yeah, right back at you.
Oh, thanks.
I know that you feel the same way about a lot of these things that we talked about tonight. So
yes, definitely.
So yeah, vice versa.
Well, awesome. My questions have come to an end, sir. So you're out of the hot seat.
Out of the okay.
breathe.
Okay, it's over. Well, this was so much fun. Yes. I really appreciate the idea and the sentiment to come on here and do this, and it was great. I'm not one that likes to go out and like toot my own horn in front of a bunch of people, but again, when I get to when I get to share what I'm passionate about, I'm okay with talking about it. So awesome. I really appreciate the opportunity, and thank you so much for your time. And in the show notes, everybody listening, I will put all of Dr. Andrea's contact information, just like we did the last time she was on, and the roles were reversed, and I interviewed her. So if you all want more information about what she does at Synaptic Chiropractic, helping people with stress and manage their stress better, that information will be there for you. Thank you all so much for tuning in, listening, watching, however you're getting this information and taking in and enjoying this podcast. I appreciate it. As always, hit those subscribe buttons, hit those reminder bells, so that you know when the episodes drop, and they're automatically just sitting there ready for you to enjoy on your favorite podcast platform every week. So thank you all. Dr. Andrea, thank you again so much. I really appreciate this.
Thank you for having me on again. This was fun.
Of course, it won't be the last time, I promise. We will definitely have some more great conversations on here. So thank you.
Awesome. All right. Have a great night, everybody.
Yes, have a good one, everybody. Thank you.